services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Now you get this.
Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the High School Football Scoreboard. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union here on the Sports Talk Media Network for what is our third Friday night of the high school football season. Man, it is flying by despite all the cancellations. We still have high school football being played around the state of South Carolina. And we're going to bring you all those scores as they come in through our various sources tonight. And we're going to talk to some reporters who are covering games tonight, might ring up a coach or two as well. Also, as we did last week, if you've been to a ball game and you'd like to join in and tell us about your ball game, about what you saw out there, about who stood out to you, love to hear from you. 888-898-2525, 888-898-2525 is how you can ring us up. So feel free to do so. Is that David? Okay, let's go right to David Shelton because he's at an important ball game tonight. Fort Dorchester and Dorman, huge matchup down in the Low Country. So let's not wait around. Let's find out how that one is being played out, David.
Well, a lot of offense and a couple of big defensive plays by Fort Dorchester. The biggest are the difference in the game right now with 6:40 to play. Fort Dorchester leads Dorman 38-21, but Dorman is now knocking on the door. I think they're inside the 20. But Fort Dorchester, both teams have almost 400 yards in total offense, but Fort Dorchester has returned a fumble and a pick for touchdowns. So that's 14 points of their 38 have come off the defense. And on one other touchdown, the defense set that up with an interception. So, Fort gets a lot of notoriety for their offense, and they are pretty good. But that defense is stout. That defensive front at Fort Dorchester is really good. And they've got a corner, Rayshawn Springs, who just makes play after play after play. If he's not, they catch a ball, he makes a sure tackle. He's got a pick six tonight. They're really athletic on defense. But Dorman's hung in there. They've kind of stalled since the second quarter, or since the first quarter. They've only scored one time over the last three quarters. But like I said, they are knocking on the door here with about 6.5 to play.
All right, very good. Real quick, that Fort Dorchester defense, you mentioned the corner, but are they big up front? Are they swift up front on defense?
Oh, they're big. Oh, yeah, they're big. They've got DJ Watson is probably 280. He's been offered by South Carolina. They've got another guy who I don't understand why he's not getting offers, and I think he will. His name's DJ Geddes. He's about a 260-pound end, 6'2", 6'3", but he's got 4 or 5 tackles for loss tonight. He caused the fumble that they returned for a touchdown, and he scored a touchdown on the jumbo package. So he's a really good player, but they've got size and quickness up front, no question.
How's your crowd out there tonight?
No, we didn't get in. No, it's okay. Fort doesn't sell out. Fort's got a big home stands, and there's a couple thousand here. Dorman did travel pretty well, which I would expect. But it's one of those TV games too, so it runs longer. And that red hat is my worst enemy on the deadline. But with about 5 minutes to go, Dorman is on the 1 yard line. Looks like second and goal or so. So they'll get it within 2 scores, and then they'll have to force. Fort Dorchester has gotten real conservative in the second half. They throw the ball very well, and they've sort of just started handing it off and trying to eat some clock. So, and Dorman just scored. So it's 38-28 with 5 minutes left.
Okay, well, there's still hope for Dorman if they get an onside kick or a quick stop. So Well, we'll give us a quick call after the game is over before you get to your interviews, and then we'll let you go.
Okay.
Thank you, man.
All right.
David Shelton from down in the Low Country at one of the big games of the night down there, and that is, of course, Fort Dorchester and Dorman, two of the typical powerhouses in the state. Right now, Fort Dorchester with a 10-point lead after Dorman just knocked it in for a score. Meantime, other final scores tonight as we go across the state, beginning in the upstate as we are organizing our scores. Abbeville with a big 45-7 win over Emerald tonight. Greenwood in a real good ball game. Edges Catawba Ridge 17-14. Fairfield Central over Chesney 32-16. Northwestern big winner over Clover 42-16. Dixie shuts out Ware Shoals 16-0. Landrum over Crescent 21-5. Powdersville edges Wren 10-9. That Wren offense has not been Wren-like so far this season. Powdersville with the 10-9 win tonight. In the Midlands, Chester over Airport 28-7. Gray Collegiate beat Legion Collegiate, and that was last night, 42-0. Louisville 26-8 over Buford. Mid Carolina 51, Whitmire 0. Wade Hampton of Hampton 43, Estill 8. White Knoll 31, Orangeburg Wilkinson 12. To the PD Grand Strand, where again, limited games because of COVID, shutting down a lot of schools or shutting down a lot of teams and forcing cancellations. Eugene Ashley of North Carolina beat Waccamaw 43-26. It was Carolina Forest over New Hanover of North Carolina 28-0. And Ashley Ridge goes to Florence and beats Wilson. First game in that new stadium. Ashley Ridge wins it by a final score of 17-7. In the Low Country, we have Philip Simmons over Military Magnet 40-0. Skeeza finals. First Baptist over Lawrence Manning 14-7. Greenwood Christian over Spartanburg Christian 48-0. Hammond bested Porter Goud 35-7. Thomas Hayward over Dorchester Academy 22-7. Holly Hill Academy 58. Wardlaw Academy nothing. Now jumping here and there to bring you the latest final scores being provided by SC Sports Source. And we're getting a final in from Dennis Brunson and Sumter. Crestwood beat Richland Northeast tonight 16-15. Thank you, Dennis, for that. Crestwood hands Richland Northeast his first loss, but a good ball game. 16-15. Eastside over Wade Hampton of Greenville 31-28. Nation Ford defeats River Bluff 28-21. Lawrence over Union County 44-28. It was Pickens 56, Pendleton 39. Cox Mill of North Carolina beat York 17-14. Andrew Jackson, a winner over Mullins tonight, 40-14. Greer edges Westside 28-25. Keenan 32, Dreer 21. Chapin 56, Lugoff Elgin 28. Their quarterback Bradford just picked up an offer from South Carolina this afternoon, the Chapin quarterback in the 24 class. Heathwood Hall with a win over Ben Lippen 34-17. Pat likes that. Camden beats Hartsville in a real good ball game 43-37. Easley over Seneca 38-28. Chapman 41, Boiling Spring 17. Barnwell 40, Swansea 8. C.A. Johnson shuts out Eau Claire 50-0. Greenville High with a very close win over Malden. Good ball game, 24-21. Greenville High wins over Malden. Wade Hampton of Hampton over Estill, 43-8. And let's see if we have any new scores that have come in while we were going over those scores. We continue to refresh our scoreboard here to see what we've got. Let's see. Brooklyn Casey beat Blythewood 14-3. All right, that's the latest new score in there. And we check a variety of sources for scores. See what else we've gotten in here. Let me tell you about the cancellations tonight. Another lengthy list of cancellations around the state. going into this Friday night. And of course, in some cases, you have got teams that had to cancel, and they had to cancel twice because they had a COVID issue. They rescheduled, and that game got canceled. So sometimes you'll hear a team with a canceled game, and you'll hear it twice. So looks like we have about 39 canceled games this week. Bluffton Airport, Stratford Ashley Ridge, Greensea Floyd's Aner, South Aiken and Barnwell, Swansea Batesburg Leesville, Broome Belton Honeypath, Palmetto Belton Honeypath, Brooklyn Casey Blythewood, Chester Brooklyn Casey, Cane Bay Calhoun County, Conway Carolina Forest, Blacksburg and Cherryville, North Carolina. Wagner Sally Edisto, Woodland Hanahan, Chesterfield Hannapampico, Kingstree Lake City, Broome and Liberty, South Columbus of North Carolina and Loris, Timberland Manning, Hemingway Marion, Latta McBee, Fox Creek McCormick, St. James Myrtle Beach, West Brunswick North Carolina Myrtle Beach, Silver Bluff 96, Columbia North Central, Gaffney Rock Hill 96, Saluda, Aiken Silver Bluff, Socastee St. James, Wando Somerville, Cross Timberland, Great Falls Timmonsville, Woodmont Walhalla, Lake City West Florence, York Westwood, Aner Well Branch, Allendale Fairfax Well Branch, and Dillon Wilson. That's your list of canceled games for tonight. Of course, some of these teams that were canceled did find other opponents who could play, so you'll hear their names come up in the score section. Like Carolina Forest had a game canceled, but they were able to pick up another game and play tonight and get a win. All right, we'll hit a break here on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. We'll continue after this timeout.
Relax on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. If you're looking for low rates, look to Founders. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Crown Jewel event big. Like 2 races for the price of 1 big. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Cup Series. 2 races, 1 epic Sunday. The playoffs begin at Darlington with the 72nd running of the Southern 500, September 4th through the 5th. Adult tickets start at $50, with kids starting at just $10. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. South Carolina is just right.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut, and for me, high school football Friday nights in the Palmetto State are electric. And I want to know how all the teams in the state are doing. For that, I turn to scfootballstats.com. I've used scfootballstats.com for years as a resource, so I have all the scores and schedules right at my fingertips. And so can you. Never hunt for scores, standings, or rankings again. scfootballstats.com delivers weekly updates right to your inbox. Everything from your favorite teams, including Skiza, all in one place. Fan subscriptions are just $25 for a full season of access. Head over to scfootballstats.com right now for a free trial. That's scfootballstats.com. Back we are on South Carolina's only statewide high school football scoreboard show every Friday night during the high school football season, all the way to championship weekend. This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Let's catch you up to date on all the final scores. I know folks are tuning in from their games or getting into their cars after games tonight, games wrapping up, and you're just now hearing a bunch of scores. So we will pass along to you all the finals that we have in at this point, including New Hope over Oak Brook, 52-20. Crestwood beat Richland Northeast, 16-15. PD Academy, 21. Florence Christian, 14. South Florence, 63. Irmo, 28. Pillion, 42. Midland Valley, 26. Wagner Sally, 54. Hunter Connor Tyler, 8. Brooklyn Casey, 14. Blythewood, 3. Eastside, 31. Wade Hampton of Greenville, 28. Nation Ford, 28. River Bluff, 21. Lawrence, 44. Union County, 28. Pickens, 56. Pendleton, 39. Cox Mill of North Carolina, 17. York, 14. Northwestern, 42. Clover, 16. Lower Richland beat Hilton Head, 35-6. Andrew Jackson over Mullins, 40-14. Greer, 28. Westside, 25. Keenan, 32. Dreer, 21. Chapin, 56. Lugoff Elgin, 28. Heathwood Hall, 34. Ben Lippen, 17. Camden over Hartsville, 43-27. Easley knocks off Seneca, 38-28. Miss Chapman, 41. Boiling Spring, 17. Barnwell tops Swansea, 40-8. C.A. Johnson, 50. Eau Claire, nothing. Greenville, 24. Malden, 21. Wade Hampton of Hampton, 43. Estill, 8. It was Fairfield Central, 32. Chesney, 16. Powdersville, 10. Wren, 9. White Knoll, 31. Orangeburg Wilkinson, 12. Mid Carolina, 51. Mid Carolina, 51. Whitmire, nothing. Did I say White Knoll, 31. Orangeburg Wilkinson, 12? I think I did. Landrum, 21. Crescent, 5. Philip Simmons, 46. Military Magnet, nothing. Hammond, 35. Porter Gouge, 7. First Baptist, 14. Lawrence Manning, 7. Chester, 28. Airport, 7. Greenwood Christian, 48. Spartanburg Christian, nothing. Greenwood, 17. Catawba Ridge, 14. Ashley Ridge, 17. Wilson, 7. Abbeville, 45. Emerald, 7. Louisville, 26. Buford, 8. Carolina Forest, 28. New Hanover of North Carolina, nothing. Thomas Hayward, 22. Dorchester Academy, 7. Eugene Ashley of North Carolina, 43. Waccamaw, 26. Holly Hill Academy, 58. Wardlaw, nothing. Dixie, last night, beat Ware Shoals, 16-0. And also last night in Columbia, you had Gray Collegiate playing its sister school, Legion Collegiate, and taking them to the woodshed, 42-0. Gray Collegiate, the winner there. All right, let's see if we have any updated other final scores that have come in since we went through the scoreboard a moment ago. A lot of times scores will come in as we are updating the other scores, so let's refresh our internet sources here. SC Sports Source is a great source for finding scores. That's kind of who we lean on. Lee Academy, 45. Wilson Hall, 28. Trinity Collegiate, 74. And Pinewood Prep, 40. Hanahan, 28. Cane Bay, 21. Let's see. What else? Colleton Prep, 59. Northwood, 12. Okay, I think we're up to date there on those particular scores. So one of the other big games of the night, and we're waiting to get a final score to see if we can find a partial on this, is the Dutch Fork and Burns game. And let's see if we can get an update on that, because that's certainly one of the big games of the night. And as we refresh here and see if we can get some updated scores from the trusty internet. Let's see here. Let's see. Looking. We see Pillion over Midland Valley, 42-26. I think we had that one. And Chapin over Lugoff Elgin, 56-28. Lower Richland over Hilton Head, 35-6. And looks like we have Andrew Jackson over Mullins, 40-14. Got that one. The last score we got, in the fourth quarter, after 3, Dutch Fork, 56, Burns, 25. Now, Burns had taken the early lead in that ball game. Dutch Fork has turned it around, and they are playing without their head coach, Tom Knotts, for a reason that we do not know. So Dutch Fork is taking control of that game with Burns, 56-25. So this is the first game that Dutch Fork has played since the tragic loss of a player. And Keenan played its first game of the season tonight, also after the tragic loss of a player just recently. Fort Dorchester does beat Dorman. See if we can get David back real quick on that, Pat. Fort Dorchester does beat Dorman 38-28. Great Falls doubles up Latta 40-20. Hannah Pamplico 22. Manning 12. Okay, we are up to date on our scores. So let's go to the phones. And we have Chris Deering with us, who was on hand to watch Lower Richland take down Hilton Head tonight. And Chris, welcome into the high school scoreboard. How are you?
Great, sir. How are you doing this evening?
Terrific. Thank you for calling in. Lower Richland putting together a very fine performance tonight.
Yeah, the Diamonds are starting off. They are 3-0 this year, and they've played very well on both sides of the ball so far. They got a few playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, and Robert Adams at quarterback, and they got a big running back that's about 230 pounds, 240 pounds, and Jeremy Barney. He scored 2 touchdowns tonight. Adams, the quarterback, he threw for 2. Just all around good performance by Lower Richland tonight.
It sounds like it. And they're picking up on the success that they created last year, aren't they?
Well, 2 years ago, they had a really good season. And, last year with COVID and they had a new coach, he actually came over from Dutch Fork. He was the offensive line coach under Tom Knotts at Dutch Fork, Marlon Taylor. And as he explained to me early in the preseason, he didn't get those guys until almost August last year because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a struggle for them last year, but 2 years ago they were pretty good. And I think this year, they have a chance. They got playmakers, and they got a big one next week. They face AC Flora. That's the one I think is where I've had circled for a while. Coach Taylor, when he was talking to the team afterwards, he told them he's a big Ric Flair fan. And to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and they get that chance next week.
Yeah, that should be a huge one. What'd you think of the Hilton Head standout linebacker defensive end, Jalen Sneed, who's committed to Notre Dame?
Yeah, Phil, they lined him up a little bit of everywhere. Outside linebacker, strong safety, played a little bit of defensive end on a couple of downs, I thought. There's no question about it. He's one of the top 5 players in this 2022 class. He did a little bit of everything, played a little bit of offense. I think they're sort of limiting his touches on offense right now. But he's a big physical kid, and I expect to see big things out of him at Notre Dame. I was really impressed. First time I had a chance to see him play tonight, and he was really good.
Did Notre Dame? Did Lower Richland do a lot of double team blocking on him? They give him extra attention?
They really didn't. And I don't have the roster right in front of me. Lower Richland's got a big left tackle, number 77. He's probably about 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. He did a good job a couple times. He went up against Sneed and he sealed him off, and they sort of ran at him a couple of times. But when they did try to run away from Sneed, he was quick enough to get to the other side of the ball. He made some plays in the backfield where he ran the guy down. So they didn't really do anything special. They just sort of played him straight up.
Mr. Deering, we appreciate it. Tell everybody where your writings can be found.
Well, 2 weeks ago I told you the prep red zone, and I did fail to mention I'm partners with our buddy David Shelton down there with the high school sports report too. So you can read me a little bit everywhere tomorrow.
That's outstanding. It's a good man to be partnering with. Thank you so much for the report. We'll look for you next week. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too. You do the same.
Thank you. All right, Chris Deering with the story of the LR win tonight over Hilton Head, and we're back in a moment.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
With SRN News, I'm Ron Dorchester. President Biden was in Louisiana today to get an up-close view of the damage from Hurricane Ida. Mr. Biden, pledging robust federal assistance to get people back on their feet, said the government already had distributed $100 million directly to individuals in the state in $500 checks. But many, he said, don't know what kind of help is available because they can't get cell phone service. Meanwhile, the president's plans to start delivery of booster shots by September 20th for most Americans who received COVID-19 vaccines, facing new complications that could delay the availability for those who received the Moderna vaccine. And a North Carolina appeals courts blocked an order that allowed well over 50,000 felony offenders who aren't serving prison or jail time to immediately register to vote and cast ballots. State Court of Appeals agreed on Friday to halt last week's decision. This is SRN News.
Oh, good, you're home. I need your help.
Doing what?
Replacing our old light bulbs with these new energy-efficient LEDs.
Where did you get these?
Dominion Energy. I ordered direct from their online store. LEDs for every room, all at huge discounts.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. And my 15-bulb order got us free shipping.
Sounds too good to be true.
See for yourself at DominionEnergySC.com.
Where?
DominionEnergySC.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
You ever notice there's a lot of foundation repair companies in the Midlands? Well, I asked my guys at TerraTech about this. Seems like 80% of the homes end up with foundation issues in the Midlands. It's just the soil around here. So how do you pick the right foundation company if you think you're having an issue? I always start by thinking local. I mean, think local always. Your home is your biggest financial investment. You want someone who's been here a while and isn't going anywhere for a while, and that's TerraTech. They're family-owned, they're AAA approved by the Better Business Bureau, and they are 100% local. They use the highest quality products, and they stand behind their work. And I'm not into scare tactics, no way. But goodness, this is your home. I mean, it's your castle. Walk around it. Take a look. If you see cracks in the foundation, just call TerraTech. They'll come out for free. No cost, no obligation. They'll tell you honestly if you have a problem or not. You can trust TerraTech to repair your home. You know I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Online, it's TerraTechInc.com or call them 791-8888. That's 791-8888 or online at TerraTechInc.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-533-6605 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
Okay, we're back on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Thanks to Founders for being a part of what we do here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Great company, heavily involved with athletics all across the state of South Carolina on a variety of different levels, from the colleges to the high schools and even lower down than that. So great to have them a part of the high school football scoreboard show once again here in 2021. All right, let's catch you up on the final scores that have come in once again. We'll wait for some of the reporters to get back to us as well. Cheraw has beaten Darlington tonight. 42-19 is that final score. Let's take you across the state, though, from the upstate to the low country and Skeeza, as we have logged a number of scores. So in the upstate, Abbeville 45, Emerald 7, Chapman 41, Boiling Springs 17, Greenwood 17, Catawba Ridge 14, Fairfield Central 32, Chesney 16, Northwestern 42, Clover 16, Dixie 16, Ware Shoals nothing, Easley 38, Seneca 28, Eastside 31, Wade Hampton 28, Greenville 24, Malden 21, Greer 28, Westside 25, Landrum 21, Crescent 5, Lawrence 44, Union County 28, Nation Ford 28, River Bluff 21, Pickens 56, Pendleton 39, Powdersville 10, Wren 9, Spartanburg defeats Hillcrest 45-37. It was Cox Mill of North Carolina over York 17-14. In the Midlands tonight, Chester over Airport 28-7. Brooklyn Casey 14, Blythewood 3, C.A. Johnson 50, Eau Claire nothing. Crestwood 16, Richland Northeast 15. It was Wagner Sally 54, Hunter Connor Tyler 8. Gray Collegiate last night beat Legion Collegiate 42-0. Great Falls over Latta 40-20. South Florence, big offensive night with a win over Irmo 63-28. Keenan 32, Dreer 21. Louisville downs Buford 26-8. It was Chapin 56, Lugoff Elgin 28, Mid Carolina 51, Whitmire nothing. Johnsonville edges North Central 29-26. Killian over Midland Valley 42-26. Wade Hampton of Hampton 43, Estill 8. And White Knoll downed Orangeburg Wilkinson by a final score of 31-12. To the PD, Grand Strand, Eugene Ashley, North Carolina over Waccamaw 43-26. Carolina Forest 28, New Hanover of North Carolina nothing. Hannah Pamplico 22, Manning 12. Camden in a real shootout with Hartsville tonight. Bulldogs get it 43-37. Andrew Jackson 40, Mullins 14. Ashley Ridge, a winner over Wilson 17-7. In the Low Country, these finals: James Island 23, Bishop England 16. Fort Dorchester over Dorman 38-28. Goose Creek defeats West Ashley 34-28. It was Hanahan 26, Cane Bay 21. Philip Simmons over Military Magnet 40-0. To the Skeeza scoreboard. Heathwood Hall, 34, Ben Lippen, 17. Thomas Sumter, 33, Carolina Academy, 6. Richard Wynn, 36, Faith Christian, 14. First Baptist, 14, Lawrence Manning, 7. It was PD Academy, 21, Florence Christian, 14. Greenwood Christian, 48. Spartanburg Christian, nothing. Hammond, 36. Porter Goud, 7. Colleton Prep, 59. Northwood, 12. New Hope, 52. Oakbrook, 20. Trinity Collegiate, 74. Pinewood Prep, 40. Thomas Hayward, 22. Dorchester Academy, 7. Holly Hill Academy, 58. Wardlaw Academy, nothing. And Lee Academy, 35. Wilson Hall, 28. That's what we have for you thus far. As far as scores we've been able to plug into the scoreboard, let's check on some other scores that have come in on SC Sports Source over the last 4 or 5 minutes. Give you some more final scores, which is what we're here to do. You can catch all the scores. Berkeley over Stall, 48-12. Goose Creek over West Ashley, 34-28. I think we just mentioned that. That seems to be the only new score in thus far. Berkeley over Stall, final score of 48-12. So let's go back to the phones. And it's our man, Bob Corlew, who's going to one-up David Shelton. Bob's got the story on Dorman and Fort Dorchester. Of course, his station, WQUL, is the home of Dorman football. He's been listening and following that game. He'll give us some details. Tough loss tonight for Dorman, Bob, but they ran into a really good team.
Good evening, Phil. Really was, and sadly, it was a game that at least Dorman fans felt like Dorman could have won. Dorman had 4 big turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions, and 3 of those led to touchdowns. 2 of them immediate touchdowns, and 1 more led to a touchdown and a couple of additional plays. So that really was the difference in the game. Now, don't get me wrong. Both of these teams were really playing hard, and both teams excellent. The first quarter, I thought, was really really more of a barometer of both of these teams, and they basically swapped touchdowns in the first quarter. At the end of one, it was 14-14. Dorman and Fort Dorchester each with a couple of touchdowns. But then when the second quarter began, Dorman lost. Actually, Fort Dorchester lost a interception also, but Dorman did not score on that interception. But Fort Dorchester was able to put points on the board with 2 interceptions and 1 of the fumbles as well. So that really was the difference in the game. Now, I'm sure David can give you a more schooled approach to the game, and he can tell you more about it than I can. But that's kind of the way it seemed to be. Of course, the game down at Fort Dorchester, and it was hard fought. And to be real fair, both teams really worked hard. Both teams really played well.
Well, that's good. I mean, you'll want to see a well-played game and maybe just a little bit of a better team. Now, Fort Dorchester is excellent, but this is I don't know. Did you guys who followed Dorman going into this season, did you see kind of a slow start for this team as a possibility, a little bit taken back by the 1-2 start?
Absolutely. We didn't see it coming until the first game, but honestly, the first game, as we mentioned, when Dorman lost to Clover fairly handily, it was apparent that Dorman just really was not ready to play that first game. But each game, the Cavaliers have gotten better. Had a big game last week, won 33-0 over Boiling Springs. And like I say, tonight, statistically, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but statistically, I think you'll find that it's a pretty close game. First downs, total yardage gained, and so forth. So it really, the difference was the was the turnovers that cost Dorman the win. Perhaps it was another game. I think all three of these games this year have been games where Dorman has had an opportunity to learn some lessons and to teaching points, if you will, from various aspects of each of the games, and tonight's game no exception. Now, to be real fair, Phil, comparing the Dorman team tonight with the Dorman team that came out to play Clover, it's like night and day. Just totally different teams. And of course, this is a non-region game, so I think you'll see Dorman going on in some of the future games and really still having a great season and being a competitor in the postseason too.
Well, we appreciate the report. Great job, and we'll see what happens next week for Dorman. Who do the Cavaliers have next week?
Next week we are on the road still, and we play Hillcrest over at Simpsonville.
Oh, they'll be angry. They lost tonight, so they'll be angry.
Yes. We've got a bye week on the 17th, and then we play Ridgeview. So we've really got 3 away games in a row. Our next home game isn't until October 1st.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for the report, Bob, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks, Phil. If I can throw in just real quickly, the other team that we cover here at the radio station is Woodruff, and of course Woodruff did not play tonight, and I'm sure you've mentioned that. Southside Christian was the intended opponent, but they announced on Tuesday that game would not be played.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. I did have them on my scoreboard, but was looking for a score, was not aware, so I'm glad you told us that.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Bob. Have a great weekend.
Hey, great to talk to you. You too, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Happy Labor Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Labor we shall be doing. Laboring away. They named it right, didn't they, Pat? Labor Day weekend. All right, so Southside Christian and Woodruff, one of the games that was canceled tonight. And Fort Dorchester with that win over Dorman, big win. And we'll have more on that from David Shelton a little bit later on when he finishes up some of his duties there. All right, we'll get the story on the Lawrence win tonight coming up from Mike Hughes after the break, and go back over these scores for you once again. Continue to talk to people who've been at games tonight as well as we continue here on the High School Scoreboard.
Save like a pro with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product to get savings today. Not a member yet? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut, and for me, high school football Friday nights in the Palmetto State are electric. And I want to know how all the teams in the state are doing. For that, I turn to scfootballstats.com. I've used scfootballstats.com for years as a resource, so I have all the scores and schedules right at my fingertips. And so can you. Never hunt for scores, standings, or rankings again. scfootballstats.com delivers weekly updates right to your inbox. Everything from your favorite teams, including Skeeza, all in one place. Fan subscriptions are just $25 for a full season of access. Head over to scfootballstats.com right now for a free trial. That's scfootballstats.com.
I learned that people are just looking for somebody to listen to them. You can't just start cutting somebody's hair and you're going to be quiet the whole time because you're not going to be in business long.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has provided over $800 million to help students attend technical colleges across our state, investing in a new generation of entrepreneurs, just like James. Your passion is our purpose.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there. offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Hey, while we're talking football tonight, there was an important soccer game up at Clemson. Clemson beat South Carolina 5-0. Gamecocks played with only 9 guys. They get how many? 11 in soccer? You get 11 in soccer?
11, and they had 2 different players get ejected for multiple yellow cards, which turns into a red card. So they played the entire second half at a 2-man disadvantage.
And you told me that the shots on goal 32-5 in favor of Clemson?
32-5, which is just a wild statistic. And South Carolina on the night had 6 yellow cards, 5 against players, and then 1 that, according to this, was just against the team itself. Clemson had 2 on their own.
Clemson has a great soccer program, and South Carolina's rebuilding under Tony Annan. I think that's right.
They'll be good again before too long. He'll get them in shape pretty quick, it seems like.
He'll get some players. Yep. And let me give you the college scoreboard, because we've got college football going on tonight as well, and we've seen some things interesting happen out there. For example, Virginia Tech knocked off number 10 North Carolina in Blacksburg 17-10, and Charlotte beat Duke 31-28. Wake Forest over Old Dominion 42-10. Right now, Michigan State leads Northwestern late in the half. In fact, they're about to go to halftime, 21-7. Michigan State, they're going to get a field goal attempt here. They're up 21-7 late in the half. Kansas, who will be in Conway Friday night, week from tonight, leading South Dakota 10-7. Colorado with a 14-0 lead over Northern Colorado. South Dakota State leading Colorado State 13-7 late second quarter. And there you go. Not too much college football on Friday night. Friday night should belong to the high schools, people. But you know what? People must be watching college football on Friday nights, or they would not be airing those games. Let's go to Mike Hughes with the report tonight on Lawrence. Lawrence with a nice win tonight over Union County. High-scoring game, Mike, 44-28. Lawrence wins it. They must have had the offense cooking and cranked up tonight.
Yeah, they did, Phil. Also, you got to remember in the back of your mind that this was Union's first game, as they had not been able to play due to COVID. And, anytime you have a team that's out there first game, you're going to get the offsides and, jumping and that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, that did happen to Union a good bit tonight, and that Lawrence took advantage of that. Lawrence went right down and scored on the opening drive. Union won the toss, and they made it 7-0. But Union came back a little bit later on and scored with 3:01 left in the first period, missed the PAT, and it was 7-6. Then Lawrence was on the next possession. Lawrence fumbled, and Union actually recovered it at about the Lawrence 31-yard line and just ran it in. So with the 2-point conversion, it was 14-7 Union, with 2:46 left in the first quarter of play. By the time the halftime rolled around, the game had been back and forth, but Lawrence did lead it by a score of 28-21. They made Union turn it over on downs right before the half, and Lawrence drove down the field 55 yards to get the momentum going into the second half of play. And then Lawrence just pretty much ball control with a lot of running tonight. Normally we've been a little bit pass heavy, but tonight Lawrence did have more yards running, and I don't have the stats right in front of me, but they did go on and take the win, like we said, 48-28 over a good Union team that once they get a little bit of game experience, those guys are quick and they got tall. Their quarterback completed 3 long passes. They got a wide receiver, and his name escapes me right off the bat. He's about 6'4". They would throw it up out there, and that guy could go up and rebound it and bring it down for a touchdown. He did that twice tonight. So, good game.
Very good, very good. And so, Lawrence, if I remember correctly, I believe lost last week after an opening win on the season. Am I right about that? Am I remembering correctly?
No, they lost up at T.L. Hanna in the first game of the season. They gave T.L. Hanna all they want, and T.L. Hanna drove right at the end of the game to get the win. And then last week we had our arch rival Clinton, a cross-county rival, came in and for the first time in 4 years defeated Lawrence 21-19 and won well of a game where turnovers hurt the Raiders. If my memory serves me right tonight, the fumble that they picked up and ran in for the touchdown was the only turnover Lawrence had tonight. And Union did have a couple themselves. So for a change, Lawrence won the turnover battle tonight, which is what killed them the first 2 weeks of the season.
Gotcha. So they were 0-2 and finally break through tonight. That's right. It was a close loss, then a loss, and then the win tonight. So they get on the board and got to believe that's going to do wonders for their confidence now moving forward. Who is next week for you?
Defending 3A champ Daniel at home.
Okay. Well, enjoy the
Not
trip.
getting any easier.
Enjoy the trip into the Lions' Den. You say it's at home for them or home for y'all?
Home for us, thank goodness.
Oh, okay. Be at your place. Okay. Well, Mike, we thank you, man.
I'm only 5 minutes from home there.
There you go. Hey, we thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Phil. Take
Yes,
it
sir.
easy.
Should
Bye.
have a heck of a game next week. All right. Mike Hughes from our affiliate, WLBG, FM and AM up in Lawrence. Thank him very much for calling in. Lakeview beat East Clarendon tonight, 48-18. Speaking of Daniel, they went out of state or had an out-of-state opponent, Duluth, Georgia, and they win it 41-19. Beaufort defeats Benedictine of Georgia, 33-23. Berkeley over Stall, 48-12. Goose Creek 34. West Ashley 28. Sheraw over Darlington 42-19. Spartanburg beat Hillcrest 45-37. Johnsonville edges North Central 29-26. Richard Wynn 36. Faith Christian 14. Dutch Fork, after kind of a slow start, puts it on Burns 56-25. Is there anybody out there that can is there anybody out there? I feel like I'm talking to Mars. Is there life out there? Is there anybody out there who can beat Dutch Fork? I'm just thinking on as far as the results tonight and the results early on this season with other teams. I mean, Dorman's lost a couple of times. Well, I guess Gaffney. Looks like Gaffney and Fort Dorchester stand to be about the only ones who could go toe-to-toe with Dutch Fork at this point. We'll ask David Shelton that when he joins us. Dutch Fork over Burns 56-25. James Island 23. Bishop England 16. Thomas Sumter 33. Carolina Academy 6. Fort D 38. Dorman 28. Great Falls 40. Latta 20. Hannah-Paplico 22. Manning 12. Lee Academy 45. Wilson Hall 28. Trinity Collegiate 74. Pinewood Prep 40. Hanahan 28. Cane Bay 21. Colleton Prep 59. Northwood 12. New Hope 52. Oakbrook 20. Crestwood 16. Richland Northeast 15. PD Academy 21. Florence Christian 14. South Florence 63. Irmo 28. Hillian 42. Midland Valley 26. Wagner Sally 54. Hunter Connor Tyler 8. Brooklyn Casey 14. Blythewood 3. Eastside 31. Wade Hampton 28. Nation 4 28. River Bluff 21. Lawrence 44. Union County 28, as you just heard. Pickens 56. Pendleton 39. Cox Mill, North Carolina 17. York 14. Northwestern 42. Clover 16. Lower Richland 35. Hilton Head 6. Andrew Jackson 40. Mullins 14. Greer 28. West Side 25. Keenan 32. Dreer 21. Chapin 56. Lugoff Elgin 28. Heathwood Hall 34. Ben Lippin 17. Camden 43. Hartsville 37. Easley 38. Seneca 28. Chapman 41. Boiling Spring 17. Barnwell 14. Swansea 8. C.A. Johnson 50. Eau Claire nothing. It was Greenville 24. Malden 21. Wade Hampton of Hampton 43. Estill 8. Fairfield Central 32. Chesney 16. Powdersville 10. Wren 9. White Knoll 31. Orangeburg Wilkinson 12. Mid Carolina 51. Whitmire nothing. Landrum 21. Crescent 5. Philip Simmons 46. Military Magnet nothing. Hammond 35. Porter Gouge 7. First Baptist 14, Lawrence Manning 7, Chester 28, Airport 7, Greenwood Christian 48, Spartanburg Christian nothing. Greenwood 17, Catawba Ridge 14, Ashley Ridge 17, Wilson 7, Abbeville 45, Emerald 7, Louisville 26, Beaufort 8, Carolina Forest 28, New Hanover of North Carolina nothing. Thomas Hayward 22, Dorchester Academy 7, Eugene Ashley 43, Waccamaw 26, Holly Hill Academy 58, Wardlaw nothing. Thank you, SC Sports Source, for doing a great job with the scores, and we'll be back.
Local in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Columbia's local talk radio experience. 107 The Point. MakeThePointRadio.com. The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. Power should be restored to New Orleans by the middle of next week, but officials are warning people returning to communities outside the city to come prepared like survivalists because of the lack of basic services in the aftermath of Ida. President Biden spent the day in the region telling local leaders at the St. John Parish Emergency Operations Center the federal government will help everyone in need.
There's nothing political about this. It's just simply about saving lives and getting people back up and running. And we're in this together, and so we're not going to leave any community behind, rural, city, coastal, inland.
In the Northeast, police were going door to door and tallying lists of people still missing. As the death toll edged higher from the catastrophic flooding spurred by the remnants of Ida, at least 49 people in 5 states have died because of stormwater filling people's homes and engulfing vehicles. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken goes on the road Sunday to Qatar as well as Germany. He wants to visit U.S. diplomats and troops along with Afghans who were evacuated from Kabul.
I'll be heading to Doha, where I'll meet with Qatari leaders to express our deep gratitude for all that they're doing to support the evacuation effort. I'll also have a chance to meet with Afghans, including our locally employed staff from Embassy Kabul, who are now safely in Doha preparing for their journey to the United States.
Blinken reassured Americans who remained in Afghanistan they have not been abandoned.
We're in constant contact with Americans who remain in Afghanistan and may still wish to leave. We've assigned case management teams to each remaining American citizen who's expressed an interest in leaving.
State Department says Blinken has no plans to meet representatives of the Taliban in Dotha, where the group now controls has an office. More news and analysis at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. Now that life is returning to normal, let us help you get out of your unused timeshare. For most, getting out of a timeshare that feels impossible to use is a priority. One of the biggest concerns we hear is not knowing how high your next maintenance fee may be. With the bill right around the corner, it's like rolling the dice. We will get you out of your unused timeshare quickly so you can go back to traveling where you want, when you want. For over a decade, Lone Star Transfer has been helping thousands of people just like you exit their expensive timeshare. We have an A+ rating and hundreds of excellent reviews with the BBB. We guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. For the best customer service and a free consultation, call 844-284-4860. That's 844-284-4860 or online at lonestartransfer.com.
The U.S. government's Road Safety Agency is looking into another accident involving partially automated driving systems. Correspondent Ben Thomas has the latest on this story.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration dispatched a team to look into a fatal July 26 crash in New York. Police say a 52-year-old man was struck and killed by a Tesla Model Y SUV as he was changing a flat tire on the shoulder of the Long Island Expressway in Queens. It's the 10th fatal crash to which the agency has sent a team. 9 have involved Teslas. NHTSA is conducting a formal investigation into Tesla's partially automated driving systems in crashes involving parked emergency vehicles. For years, the agency has been reluctant to regulate the systems, which do have tremendous potential to save lives. I'm Ben Thomas.
Check out more breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Hi, this is Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stayin' Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the WellPoint Foundation.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
Back we are, High School Scoreboard, hour number 2 on this third Friday night of the high school football season. I told you, David Shelton, the season would start to fly by. We're already 3 weeks in. That means next week will be a month in terms of games played in the high school football season. What do you think?
Well, try to tell that to the people who haven't played a game yet.
Yeah, I know. Really? Can you? How many teams in the state can you think of off the top of your head who have not played a game yet?
Well, I know 2 off the top. Well, 3: North Charleston, Cross, Andrews. I would have to think a little harder, but I know those 3 have not played yet.
So, how much longer can they go before they start running into danger of not being able to play enough games to make the playoffs?
Well, they're there. I mean, they got to win their. I mean, they got to get their conference games in. So, in Cross's instance, they start region play. They flip their region schedule, so they're supposed to start. Their first game is going to be a region game next Friday, but yesterday Berkeley County put Cross on virtual learning and shut down sports. So they may not play until the 17th of September and be a game behind. Now they'll have some padding at the end because their schedule's shorter, but they could end up playing 5 games, all region games. And obviously if they're going to be in the playoffs, they're going to win at least 2 of those games, I think. But they would be going in the playoffs with 5 games if they can get past their COVID issues. And it's not so much their team's COVID issues, it's the school. So they shut down the school, only school in Berkeley County, only high school in Berkeley County that they went to virtual because they do have some problems.
Wow. Okay. Let's hope that thing gets sorted out so these kids can play and enjoy a high school football season. So Bob Corlew gave us kind of an overview from the Dorman perspective of the loss to Fort Dorchester. How about your take on Fort D, the way it played tonight to get that big win?
Well, they played good. I mean, Dorman was out 15 guys tonight between injury and COVID. Gutshaw was telling me after the game that they were playing their receivers at corner. They wanted to play this game, so they did what they had to do, and it was a tough go. And you're seeing a lot of teams do that now. But on the other hand, I mean, as Gutshaw said, Fort's a pretty good football team. The turnovers really hurt Dorman. Two scores, a pick six and a scoop and score, and they lost by 10. So 14 points came off the Fort Dorchester's defensive return. Full strength, I still think Fort may be a little better, but it would have been a much more competitive, closer game. The way it started, I thought it was going to be like 50-45, and it kind of calmed down a little bit. And 38-28 was the final. Fort Dorchester will now have an off week next week as they go virtual, and they're hoping. Well, from what LaPrade said, they're allowed to practice on September 16th, and they play Wando on the 17th. So, and I kind of laughed, and I was like, well, you going to play? He goes, oh, yeah, we're going to play. That's just Steve LaPrade. He has always had the attitude of we're going to play with who we got, and we're going to give these kids an opportunity to play. And I said, yeah, but one day's practice. He goes, well, we'll try to do the best we can. But Wando is in the same boat. So I think Wando can come off 2 days and practice before they play Fort D. Again, a non-region game, so not pertinent. And we're talking 17th. We're not talking next Friday. So but Fort will be off next week. They were scheduled to be off anyway, and they were trying to find an opponent until they got put on virtual. So he said, we'll just use it as an off week.
So what are they going to do over the next couple of weeks? And they can't practice, right? So what are they going to do? Just have meetings and look at film? And can they lift weights and stuff?
They can't lift at the school. They can lift on their own. They can condition on their own. They can't be together. So they'll do Zoom. Most schools are doing Zoom meetings, film sessions. Every one of these kids now has an iPad with the game films on them, so they can do their own studying. And then meet with the coaches virtually and, go over the game plan and go over the only thing they can't do together is in person. You can lift, you can exercise, you can do all that. You just can't do it with the team. So it's not, other than the physical part of it, it's not impossible to get ready to play a game. Now if you're one of those guys that feels like you need to hit full contact twice a week, well, yeah, this is going to hurt you. But and I think Fort Dorchester is that type of program because they are a physical bunch on defense. They get after you, and but they'll get over it. They'll get past it. I mean, LaPrade didn't seem. I mean, I asked LaPrade straight up, what he thought of the decision to do it, and he agreed with it. He said, it's not a football issue, it's a school issue, and we got some crazy things going on with the COVID, and it's probably a smart idea to shut down the school. Because he did not, I did not expect to hear that. I expected to be him and he did say he was disappointed.
Yeah.
But he's not disappointed other than the fact that, he's not going to be around his team for 10 days. But like I said, they were off next week anyway, so not really going to miss anything other than practice.
Yeah. Could this be when they get back to work in mid-September, get back to their schedule? Could this be an asset to them down the road because they'll be a little fresher? They won't be as beaten down as they would have been had they continued to play?
Oh, I don't see how it couldn't hurt. Like tonight, Zoltan Osborne, the really good junior quarterback, he took some licks and he didn't play the fourth quarter. And LaPrade said he was bummed up. Couldn't throw the ball. I think he landed on the shoulder. I don't think it's serious, but LaPrade did not play him in the fourth quarter, even with the game in the balance. And so now they'll get a week, he'll have some time off to get better. So I definitely think it will help them. In their region, there's really not a team that's gonna really threaten them. West Ashley maybe, but I don't think Somerville and Ashley Ridge are going to beat Fort. So the key thing for them will be when they come back is to get as sharp as possible, because they played their two toughest opponents already, and so the rest of their schedule is going to be a little bit easier. And you kind of worry about you want your guys to be playing and to be tested. I heard you mention something about, do they have something for Dutch Fork? Too early to tell. I mean, they look good tonight, but Dutch Fork is a totally different animal. As you saw tonight, they scored 50-something on Burns. They scored 70 on Wren. I mean, offensively, as good as Fort is, I don't know if anybody can stop Dutch Fork.
Yeah. Gaffney?
I don't know if anybody can stop Dutch Fork. I haven't seen Gaffney in person, and I hear they're pretty good, but man, that Dutch Fork thing is just a machine.
Yeah. And they have the unfortunate extra motivation of the death of a teammate that's going to drive them even more. So as if they need anything else to play for. Tom Knotts was not with their team tonight. I'm waiting to hear from Lou Bezjak, who was up to cover the game for the state newspaper, and hopefully we'll get him on. But Tom Knotts was not with the team. He was not at the memorial service for the young man last week. I mean, I don't know. You can draw your own conclusions. Is it a COVID thing or something like that? Nobody is saying.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't at the memorial, and the first thing that entered my mind was there's no way he would miss that.
No.
Without maybe a COVID situation, and then I did not know he was not at the game tonight, so that that would add to the speculation. But apparently they're pretty good even when he's not there.
It doesn't matter. We could coach him, and they'd still score 60 points. All right, David, we're going to hit a break here, and we'll come back and start going around the state and getting your thoughts on some of these results tonight. Most of our scores are in. Few exceptions here and there. Most of the scores are in. So, David, you catch your breath. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Also, if we get more reporters lined up to join us, we'll talk to them as well. Maybe we'll hit up a couple of coaches here, too, as we get through the scores and maybe try to talk to some coaches a little bit later on. You're listening to the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Back in a moment.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Relax on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. If you're looking for low rates, look to Founders. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut, and for me, high school football Friday nights in the Palmetto State are electric. And I want to know how all the teams in the state are doing. For that, I turn to scfootballstats.com. I've used scfootballstats.com for years as a resource, so I have all the scores and schedules right at my fingertips. And so can you. Never hunt for scores, standings, or rankings again. scfootballstats.com delivers weekly updates right to your inbox. Everything from your favorite teams, including Skeeza, all in one place. Fan subscriptions are just $25 for a full season of access. Head over to scfootballstats.com right now for a free trial. That's scfootballstats.com.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, covering Lawrence, Clinton, Joanna, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
We are back on the High School Football Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut, Pat Daniel here in Columbia, and David Shelton with us from the Low Country. We'll start to go around the state again in just a moment and get David's thoughts on some of these results, but we have another report coming our way, and Jason Tuttle is joining us with the story on that Burns Dutch Fork game tonight. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing great, Phil. And I'd like to say hey to David. We saw a good game there in the beginning. They kind of went back and forth. If I had one knock on Dutch Fork in the beginning of the defense, I guess maybe trying to feel their way through that game. You know, they were giving up big play after they would score a touchdown. They'd come right back, and Burns would throw a pass or break a run, and it ended up being a touchdown. You know, and it kind of went like that. I would say up until it was 21-13, and then that's when it kind of got out of hand. Cause I'll tell you, man, Dutch Fort offensively is just something special to watch.
No question.
The receivers, the tight ends, the quarterback play was decent. The running backs are just superb. The line blocking. I mean, and Burns, you know, they threw everything at him. You know, everything they had, and it just you could see it was just it wasn't going to be enough. And I kind of heard you asking who could stand up to him in the state, and you mentioned Gaffney. And I happened to be at the Gaffney game when they played Somerville. And that game, to say that Somerville hadn't really played and Gaffney did was what we were hearing. Somerville did pretty good with Gaffney up until the mid to late third quarter. Then it kind of got away from, but you could tell that they hadn't played. And Gaffney, you know, had already played games, but no way with Gaffney. No. As a matter of fact, if Burns couldn't do it, I know Gaffney, because Burns is a better team, in my opinion, right now than Gaffney. There's no way Gaffney stays on the field with Dutch Ford. No way.
Now, let me ask you this. You watch a lot of games up there, obviously Burns and Gaffney, and, of course, you know Burns over the years with great athletes, great speed. They don't have the speed to match up with this Dutch Fort team this time around?
No. Just the difference in the athletes is apparent. You know, like I said, Burns, you know, they came in with a good game plan, and it kind of went back and forth. Now, like I said, the only knock that I had with Dutch Ford was they slip up on defense. You know, if you come in, a lot of teams maybe will look at this and kind of say, well, hey, we may be able to get away with a couple of things here on this defense, but if they take the, you know, whatever time they'll have to shore up that defense, and just unstoppable, man. That's a machine.
Yeah,
that's a machine right there, definitely.
Well,
definitely.
thank you.
And
thank you so much for the report. We appreciate that.
You're
Great
welcome,
stuff.
man.
Thank you, David. Does Dutch Fork have a weakness on defense, you think, in some way?
I mean, they got some new guys. I don't particularly think they're weak. I think you got to give Burns a little credit. Burns has got a pretty good offense. I just think kind of what he was saying. To beat Dutch Fork, you're going to have to outscore them. Their defense doesn't have to be great. You know, if you score 21 points on their defense, you're not going to win the game, because they're going to score more than 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, some of that is a little convoluted in terms of, you know, if they give up points or big plays. Again, I think Burns is a pretty good offensive team. I think Gaffney's a good offensive team, and they would be able to do some things. But the key is, again, you got to keep scoring. Like, you know, Burns scored 25 points tonight. Most games, you win those, but they gave up, 57 or 56 or whatever it was. You just got to keep scoring with them, and that's where it becomes a very difficult challenge to beat a team like Dutch Fort.
All right, we appreciate the call from up there with the story, with the take on that, and that's a great road win for Dutch Fort, considering everything it's been through over the last little while. And once again, Dutch Fort showing that they're not to be messed with, no matter what the situation is right now. How many in a row is that for them? Is that 52 in a row?
I believe that's 52 or 53.
Yeah. And that is state record. Have they already set the state record?
I don't. How many did Christchurch win before they were over 50? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I haven't really thought about that winning streak, because they just win every week, so you don't really think about how many in a row. But I know Christchurch went over 50 in that run they had several years ago. So I'd have to go back and look at that. Lou will know that if he gets on tonight.
Okay, hopefully Lou will give us a call. We'd love to hear from him. Blacksburg beat Oak Brook 52-20. By the way, I know that one was on your your list of important games tonight, David. So let's go over the scores from across the state and let David comment on games as we run through them. So we'll start in the upstate. And Abbeville, big winner over Emerald, 45-7. They continue to roll. Chapman over Boiling Springs, 41-17. Dutch Fork, 56. Burns, 25. How about this one, David? Heck of a ball game. Greenwood beating Catawba Ridge with their fine quarterback, 17-14. Heck of a win for the Eagles.
That is a good win. That is a really solid win. And, you know, I keep hearing, I first heard about Greenwood's potential from Sheldon at the coaches clinic. You know, he's like chairman of the school board in Greenwood or whatever.
Yeah.
He was really high on Greenwood, and it seems like, you know, I mean, Shelton knows a little bit about football. So he thought they were going to be good, and it looks like they are.
Yeah. That was a good win for them tonight, coming up with enough defense to keep that Catawba Ridge offense in check with Jaden Davis, outstanding quarterback. So good win there for Greenwood. And we'll continue with the scores here in a moment as soon as my scoreboard decides to refresh and come back to me. In the meantime, how's the weather in Charleston there, David?
It was beautiful tonight. The humidity had dropped considerably. It was still in the maybe upper 70s. It's probably mid to upper 70s right now, but the humidity was much lower, and it was a very pleasant night for high school football.
Nice. All right.
Not quite fall-like, but nice.
But a break compared to what you have been used to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We've got Fairfield Central beating Chesney 32-16. Northwestern beats Clover 42-16. So Northwestern gets a nice win there. Dixie over Ware Shoal 16-0. How about Daniel beating Duluth, Georgia 41-19? And I think Daniel gets Dorman next week. All right.
I don't know. No, I thought Dorman said they played somebody else. I can't remember who they said, but boy, if Dorman gets Daniel, that's going to be another tough challenge. I think Daniel in 2 games is almost at 100 points. They averaged 53 a game last year. They're about what they are right now.
Yeah. So good win for them tonight over this Duluth, Georgia team. I'm sure this was a game that was thrown together because of COVID. They win at 41-19. Easily over Seneca, 38-28. Eastside beats Wade Hampton 31-28. How about this one? You know, it's not many times over the years, well, maybe occasionally, but not that often, where we've had Malden and Greenville High matching up in what is considered a primo matchup. But this was one tonight in Greenville. Beats Malden 24-21. Lot of college talent running around that field tonight.
Yeah, there is. And that's a nice win for Greenville, who I still think will be a strong contender for the upper state 4A title. Malden is a pretty good football team, probably as good as they've been in several years. I'd have to think back how long ago was where I really thought they were good. But like you said, they got a lot of college. Both teams have some college prospects, so good win. It would have been a good win for either team because it's what you call a quality win.
Yeah, Lawrence plays Daniel next week. That's right. One of our other reports had was on Lawrence. It's Lawrence who plays Daniel at Lawrence next week, so that should be a good ball game. Speaking of Lawrence, they beat Union County. First game for Union County, and Lawrence, after a tough 0-2 start, puts 44 on the board, David, wins 44-28.
Yeah, Union County, I mean, like you said, it's their first game, but they're going to be a good football team. They're going to be, when they get some games together, you're going to be hearing from them. So definitely a nice win for Lawrence to avoid 0-3. I know it's Union County's first game, but that's a nice win because that's a talented team at Union County.
How about Greer beating Westside? A bit of a slow start for the Rams. I think they are 0-2. They lose to Greer 28-25.
Yeah, that's surprising. I noticed that their quarterback, Zamora, was not playing tonight. I don't know if he's hurt or it was a COVID issue or whatever. They played a different guy, but they still competed and had a chance to win the game late. So, good effort by Scott Early's club. But, they're 0-2, but it's early. and the ones that matter are the ones in the region. So, get everybody healthy and then play those region games.
Holy Innocents of Georgia over Christ Church 31-0. Jefferson of Georgia 45. Southside 0. J.O. Man 30. Travelers Rest 28. Landrum 21. Crescent 6. It was Nation Ford over River Bluff 28-21. Pendleton 39. Pickens, make that Pickens 56. Pendleton 39. A lot of offense. Powdersville beat Wren 10-9. We'll come back to that one, talk about where is Wren's offense. Riverside 48, Berea 18. How about Spartanburg beating Hillcrest 45-37. Cox Mill, North Carolina 17, York 14, and Blacksburg 52, Oak Brook 20. We're back in a moment.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. President Biden was in Louisiana today to get an up-close view of the damage from Hurricane Ida and offer assistance from the federal government. Speaking to all those stranded because of flooding and destruction, the president said, quote, "I promise we're going to have your back." The battles over mask requirements in Florida schools is headed for a new legal phase following an appeal by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis of a judge's ruling that a blanket ban on mask mandates exceeds the state's authority. The case heads next to the 15 judges on the First District Court of Appeal in Tallahassee. And police going door to door, drawing up lists of the missing as the death toll edges higher from the catastrophic flooding set off in the Northeast by the remnants of Hurricane Ida. At least 49 people in 5 states across the region have died, mostly because of getting caught in floodwaters. This is SRN News.
If you ever notice, there's a lot of foundation repair companies in the Midlands. Well, I asked my guys at TerraTech about this. Seems like 80% of the homes end up with foundation issues in the Midlands. It's just the soil around here. So how do you pick the right foundation company if you think you're having an issue? I always start by thinking local. I mean, think local always. Your home is your biggest financial investment. You want someone who's been here a while and isn't going anywhere for a while, and that's TerraTech. They're family-owned, they're AAA approved by the Better Business Bureau, and they are 100% local. They use the highest quality products, and they stand behind their work. And I'm not into scare tactics, no way. But goodness, this is your home. I mean, it's your castle. Walk around it, take a look. If you see cracks in the foundation, just call TerraTech. They'll come out for free. No cost, no obligation. They'll tell you honestly if you have a problem or not. You can trust TerraTech to repair your home. You know I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Online, it's TerraTechInc.com or call them 791-8888. That's 791-8888 or online at TerraTechInc.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Ad paid for by CompleteCar.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1985. live now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
Hey, Point listeners, this is Casey Whitener, and I'm the co-host of Right on SC on Saturday mornings. Join me and Rex Hurst talking about books, talking about writing, craft, marketing, publishing, the whole gambit. Right on SC.blog, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. on The Point. Hey, Point listeners, this is Casey Whitener, and I'm the co-host of Right on SC on Saturday mornings. Join me and Rex Hurst talking about books, talking about writing, craft, marketing, publishing, the whole gambit. Right on SC.blog, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. on The Point.
Back we are, High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. David Shelton along with us. Pat Daniel here in the studio. We come to you from our Sports Talk Media Network studios in downtown Columbia, going over all the scores. Let's go to, well, I'm not sure where Lou is. He might be back in Columbia by now. Lou Bezjak from the State newspaper, thestate.com, was up at Burns to watch Dutch Fork do its thing once again against Burns. A little bit of a slow start, and then Silver Foxes put it in high gear, and they were off to the races, and they win handily. Lou, thank you for joining us, and how impressed were you with Dutch Fork tonight?
Pretty impressed at times, especially. They were a little sloppy a bit with a lot of personal fouls. Actually, both ways. Both teams had a lot of personal fouls and a lot of chippy things, and Coach Knotts definitely wasn't pleased with that part. But offensively, they were clicking it in that first half. David Patterson had a great game running and throwing. Antonio Williams over 100 yards receiving, and Jarvis Green had a good game running and receiving and on special teams. And just a big win for them, especially after everything that's been going on with the program the past 2 weeks.
All right, you mentioned Tom Knotts, head coach at Dutch Fork. Now, earlier, we had seen reports that he wasn't at the game, but he was at the game.
Yeah, I did not expect for him to be there. In fact, I did have a story up because I talked to some of the assistant coaches when I got there, because some of the assistant coaches didn't ride with the bus. They had to bring some of the equipment. And Knotts had a heart procedure done this week and was in the hospital. He didn't get out till Wednesday. But he showed up at practice at the end yesterday, and then he rode up with the team, and he was on the sideline tonight. Wasn't as involved in the first half, but by the second half he was going. I mean, you wouldn't have known anything was wrong or anything happened to him during the week. So he said it definitely was. He said it was scarier than it sounded, but it was he had a arrhythmia. I believe, and definitely, I think they thought it was pneumonia at the beginning when they admitted him in the hospital, but he was there tonight, and there definitely has been a toll on the whole program and Jack Altahib's family, and it's these last couple weeks.
Oh, no question. But I tell you what, tells you what a tough nut Knott is. He's in the hospital just last week or was it earlier this week or last week? Did you say?
No, I mean, I think he got out on Wednesday. The procedure was done on Tuesday, and I think he was out on Wednesday.
And he's back coaching tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough dude right there. All right. So anything with Dutch Fork that would, we had a caller earlier who was there, gave us a description as well. And he cited a little bit about Dutch Fork's defense maybe being a little suspect at times. You see anything like that?
Yeah, in the first half, they gave up 350 yards offense. I mean, Gabe Rogers is pretty good, and they have a good Imhoff, good receiver, and then Mac Long, a really good running back for Burns, but I believe he tore his ACL. He didn't return, but I believe the report is he tore his ACL and was out for the year.
Oh my.
So that was a big loss for them. But yeah, they struggled in that first half defensively, but they made some adjustments and shut them out in the second half. And it's going to be like this. I think having a new defense coordinator, Nick Pelham, did a heck of a job the last 5 years, and got some new personnel, a new defense coordinator. So that's kind of expected. And but I like the adjustments they made in the second half, and they played really well.
David, you have any questions for your brother Lou?
No, I do not have any. Lou is again, as usual, on top of everything. He is the bomb. When I grow up, I want to be like Lou.
We all do. We all do. All right, who does Dutch have next week?
They are scheduled to be off the bye week, but I mean, there are talks of playing, but not said tonight. I mean, it's probably good that they have a week to kind of recuperate. He wasn't even going to make them come in till Tuesday with the Labor Day holiday. He was giving them off till Tuesday. So, and then they'll go, and I think they have Greenwood after that. Greenwood, then Spartanburg, I believe, and then they'll go in region play. But yeah.
Gotcha. By the way, from whatever anything else you've heard around the Midlands tonight, as a guy that keeps an eye on all of Midlands football, what else caught your eye from this Friday night, or even maybe Gray Collegiate from last night?
Well, they're really, really good. Gray Collegiate rolling like they have been. I think Keenan, you talk about Dutch Fork with the emotional week, and Keenan with the loss of offensive lineman, Don Adrian Robinson, coming out, and they hadn't practiced in 2 weeks until Monday, and coming out and beating Dreer. I know Dreer, I mean, they also hadn't played a game and had been in quarantine, but them come out an emotional week and do that. And Brooklyn Casey, first game of the year, and go and hold Blythewood, who was trying to be 3-0, to just a field goal. I think that was pretty impressive as well.
All right, Lou, my man, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Lou Bezjak from the state newspaper, David Shelton's prep reporting daddy, as he puts it. Appreciate him being on with us tonight. Okay, Lou's everybody's daddy.
I tell you, he is good. He's just so active, and so, he's covering Carolina stuff. He's doing the high school stuff. The guy, I have marked now. Granted, when I was in the 90s, I was as active as him, but I'm a lot older now, as you well know, Phil. So I can't do the energetic stuff that he does. But I mean, he just he really is. He's just great at what he does. He loves it. He's consumed by it, and like I said, when I grow up, that's who I want to be.
There you go. All right, let's get back to our scores, David, and to get some more thoughts from you on what has happened. And before we hit the break, I said we were going to go back and revisit. Let's see, what was the game we were going to revisit? It was, Powdersville beat Wren 10-9. So a normally potent Wren offense has really struggled so far this season.
Yeah, this is surprising, because I know that Jeff Tate told Neil Kirkpatrick, from the sports report at the clinic, that he felt like this offense was going to be better than the one they had when they won the state championship a couple of years ago. And they just have not. Now, I don't know if they have all their personnel. I have not researched it. I guess I will. But, they scored one time against Dutch Fork. And we just heard that Dutch Fork doesn't have a great defense. And then scored 9 points tonight. And I think last week they scored like 20. But we're used to seeing them in the 50s. And they just haven't got it. They haven't got it rolling this year.
All right, let's continue going over the scores. Riverside over Berea, 48-18. How about Spartanburg beating Hillcrest, 45-37? A lot of offense both ways there.
Yeah, nice win for Spartanburg. They've been struggling, and, this Hillcrest team's pretty good. That's a good, solid win for Spartanburg.
All right, Cox Mill, North Carolina beat York, 17-14 in a COVID-created game, I do believe. Around the Midlands, Chester 28, Airport 7. Brooklyn Casey beat Blythewood 14-3, as you heard Lou mention. C.A. Johnson, 50. Eau Claire, nothing. It was Crestwood, 16. Richland Northeast, 15. Gray Collegiate, Thursday night, beat Legion Collegiate, 42-0. So they look good. Abbeville looks good. Some others look good in the AA classification, David.
Yeah, it's Abbeville and Gray Collegiate, and everybody else is playing for third. But unfortunately, Gray is in the upper state, and so is Abbeville. So one of them is going to make the finals, and then we'll be favored to win the state championship. Lower state has some decent teams, but really nobody that is just at that level of Abbeville and Gray is right now.
Great Falls beat Latta, huge upset, 40-20, stunner, shocking the world right there. Great Falls, two basketball towns there, Latta and Great Falls. David, John Smith, longtime highly successful basketball coach at Great Falls. Eddie Rice, longtime highly successful basketball coach at Latta. Great matchup in basketball, not so much in football, but Great Falls won it 40-20. Any comments on that?
No, I think you said it all.
Wagner Sally beat Hunter Connor Tyler 54-8. South Florence 63, Irmo 28. This South Florence offense is plenty potent, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a huge win for South Florence. Irmo's not a bad football team, and South Florence has just been rolling. I think they scored 65 last week, so they're reaching the interstate level of production. And that quarterback now, Lenore Sellers, he's a player. He's a player.
All right, let's see. We've got yes, he is going to Virginia. We've got Keenan beating Dreer 32-21. Louisville over Buford 28-8. Chapin 56. Lugoff Elgin 28. South Carolina today, David, offered that 2024 quarterback Bradford at Chapin. So that's two 2024 quarterbacks in our state with offers from South Carolina. What do you think of the Bradford kid?
Haven't seen him. He's one that I want to see some huddle film on next week. But I hear a lot of good things about him. He's very athletic, can run and throw. That Chapin offense is pretty potent. They got a lot of weapons. I might say I'm a little shocked that they pulled the trigger on an offer this early, but that's what they feel they have to do is offer these guys really early and hope they can stick with them for the next 2 or 3 years.
All right, let's take you through the rest of the Midland scores that we have, and it's Louisville. No, we gave you that one. It's Mid Carolina 51, Whitmire nothing, Johnsonville 29, North Central 26, Pillion 42, Midland Valley 26, Barnwell 40, Swansea 8, Wade Hampton 43, Estill 8, and White Knoll over Orangeburg Wilkinson 31-12. All right, this is the high school football scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. We'll be back, give you more scores on this Friday night after the break. Hi, this is Phil Kornblut, and for me, high school football Friday nights in the Palmetto State are electric. And I want to know how all the teams in the state are doing. For that, I turn to scfootballstats.com. I've used scfootballstats.com for years as a resource, so I have all the scores and schedules right at my fingertips. And so can you. Never hunt for scores, standings, or rankings again. scfootballstats.com delivers weekly updates right to your inbox. Everything from your favorite teams, including Skeeza, all in one place. Fan subscriptions are just $25 for a full season of access. Head over to scfootballstats.com right now for a free trial. That's scfootballstats.com.
Save like a pro with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product to get savings today. Not a member yet? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Keep fighting the spread. Wear your face mask. Stay 6 feet apart. And get vaccinated. Join us and fight the spread. Visit scdheck.gov/VaxFacts.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Crown Jewel event big. Like 2 races for the price of 1 big. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Cup Series. 2 races, 1 epic Sunday. The playoffs begin at Darlington with the 72nd running of the Southern 500, September 4th through the 5th. Adult tickets start at $50, with kids starting at just $10. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. South Carolina is just right.
Okay, we are back on the high school football scoreboard. More from David Shelton in just a moment. We always like to get happy coaches on with us. We've got a happy coach on with us tonight. He's the head coach at Buford High School, Coach Bryce Lebrand, whose team tonight, the Buford Eagles, defeated Benedictine of Georgia 33-23. Benedictine, one of those powerful programs in the state of Georgia. They crossed the line and got spanked by a South Carolina team tonight, 33-23. We have Coach with us, and congratulations. That's a great win for you guys.
Yeah, it really was. Really proud of our kids and our coaching staff. They did a great job of preparing them. The kids came out and played really well, handled the adversity when it got tight. So we're happy to get a win.
Tell us some about your team, Coach, what you like about it, what kind of things you're trying to do there.
Well, we took over a few years ago and played a lot of freshmen, played a lot of sophomores, and those guys are seniors and juniors now. And so kind of took our lumps and knew that, those first few years were going to be tough. And now we're seeing those kids and they're growing up and they played a ton. And, we just wanted to play against really good teams. We played 3 teams from Georgia so far this year. And, Benedictine's a great program. So, we knew it was going to be a tough task and just really proud of how they played tonight.
Boy, your quarterback had a nice game. Tyler Haley, 282 yards passing, a touchdown. He also rushed 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is he one of those double threat quarterbacks?
He is. Tyler, I think Tyler's probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the state of South Carolina. And somebody in college is going to get an unbelievable football player because he can do it all. He's a lefty. He throws a great ball. He's played a ton for us. He's played since his freshman year. And, he's really good at the run game when we need him to run game. He's a tough kid. He had a monster of a game tonight.
All right. David Shelton, you have a question or two for the coach.
Yeah, Bryce, congratulations. And, I talked to you a few weeks ago before the season started, and we talked about Tyler and your running game. And then you got a couple of defensive linemen. Tell us about those guys that are really good football players.
Yeah, Alvin Wilson's a senior. Iman Smalls is a junior. And, they just give us so much because the offensive line has to focus in so much on them that sometimes we don't have to bring pressure as much just because, those guys create so much pressure just with 2 guys. And then, we got a couple other guys we rotate in there, defensive ends, Jack Sumner. And, we've got some other, defensive linemen that play. John Asher Howell plays both ways for us. So, we got a couple guys that kind of go in and they just make life easy on us. And I'm glad that we got them and I'm not having to scheme for them on offense.
Yeah, Coach, you came in with as an assistant with Devontae Holloman, right?
Yes, sir.
And then he was there 1 year, took the job at South Point, went back to his alma mater, and
right.
you got your first opportunity to be a head coach. What have you learned? You've been at some other places. I know. I remember you were assistant at 4D at one point. What have you been able to pick up as an assistant that has helped you as you become a head coach?
Well, I've been really blessed in my career. I've been around some just great football coaches. Coach LaPrad's one of them. Worked for Jimmy Noonan, worked for Brad Bowles, who's now at Porter Goud when he was in North Carolina. And even in college, as a GA, working for Ken Sparks at Carson Newman, worked for Coach Swinney at Clemson. And You pick something up from every one of them, and they teach you something different. And I think the biggest thing that they taught me is just if you care about kids and you work hard, and they know that you love them, that you can push them, and good things will happen. And that's what this group's had. We're tough in practice and we make it hard. But I tell you what, they respond and had a great week of practice this week, and it showed up on the field.
That's super. Who you got next week?
We got West Ashley at home.
West Ashley at home. And how are you guys in that part of the state holding up with the COVID stuff and virtual school versus in school and that affecting your schedule?
Yeah, right now we're still in school, face to face, and we're like everybody else. We're just holding on and hoping that we're able to kind of avoid some of the issues that places are having, and it's a crapshoot. So far we've been fortunate. Hopefully we'll be able to continue to be fortunate.
All right, Coach. Hey, congratulations once again. That's a big win for you, and good luck to you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bryce Lebrand, head coach at Beaufort High School, with us here on the high school scoreboard. Did a great job there. North Augusta beat Grovetown of Georgia 28-19. Should mention that Lexington and Gilbert will play tomorrow. Spring Valley will play tomorrow against Carver out of Columbus, Georgia. That game will be in Atlanta. And from the Low Country, Somerville and Wando, that game was canceled. As for other Low Country scores, David, Berkeley beat Stall 48-12. James Island over Bishop England 23-16. We talked about Fort D. Goose Creek over West Ashley 34-28. Hanahan 26-21 over Kane Bay. Philip Simmons 40. Military Magnet nothing. Oceanside Collegiate 30. C.E. Murray 6. So what do you take away from other scores there in the Low Country?
Well, good win for Goose Creek, beating West Ashley. They trailed in that game 21-14. Scored, I guess, 3 touchdowns in the second half. They got a good quarterback, good receivers. Good win for them. They're just coming off of a COVID issue kind of thing where they've had some players out. And West Ashley was playing their first game tonight, and they got a really good football team. So tough loss for them because, but it is the first game, and they probably made a lot of mistakes that a lot of teams make in their first game. And the other thing, Philip Simmons is a 5-year-old school, and they're off to a 3-0 start. So the Iron Horses, Eric Bendig is really shaking that program up.
Iron Horses, I love it. In the PD Grand Strand, Eugene Ashley of North Carolina beat Waccamaw 43-26. Carolina Forest over New Hanover of North Carolina 28-0. Have they got another good quarterback at Carolina Forest?
Yeah, they got a junior that was behind the guy last year. His name's Scott Slade, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they took it on the chin last week against Fort Dorchester, but they've got 2 wins in their first 3 outings, and they're gonna be a competitive 5A team.
Sherrall beat Darlington 42-19. Lakeview over East Clarendon 48-18. Hannah Pamplico beat Manning 22-12. How about this one? This would have been maybe Dutch Fork Burns and your game, and then this Camden Hartsville matchup, and Camden won a shootout, David, 43-37.
Yeah, I thought that game would have some points. Both those offenses are pretty good, and Hartsville is now 0-2. They lost Saturday night to May River after being on COVID for quite a while. So I still think Hartsville is going to be better. They do have a lot of new guys on the field. I think they're going to be okay. I think Camden's going to be fine. Probably will still be one of the teams to beat in the 3A lower state.
Okay. Now I saw where a running back there at Hartsville, 2023 running back, was offered by Kentucky.
Yeah, is that Jay Sean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Anderson, is it? I can't remember his last name.
Simmons? Is it Simmons?
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, they've always had pretty good running backs. Tyon Evans from Hartsville, he's at Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think he scored a touchdown last night in his first college game.
Andrew Jackson beat Mullins 40-14. Ashley Ridge over Wilson 17-7. And we go to Skeeza scoreboard. Heathwood Hall 34, Ben Lippen 17, Thomas Sumter 33, Carolina Academy 6, or was it the Carolina Bobcats? Are they the same thing? I don't know.
They are the Bobcats.
Same thing. Okay. Richard Wynn, 36. Faith Christian, 14. First Baptist, 14. Lawrence Manning, 7. PD, 21. Florence Christian, 14. Greenwood Christian, 48. Spartanburg Christian, nothing. Hammond, 35. Porter-Gaud, 7. Colleton Prep, 59. Northwood, 12. New Hope, 52. Oakbrook, 20. Trinity Collegiate, 74. Pinewood Prep, 40. Thomas Hayward, 22. Dorchester, 7. It was Holly Hill Academy, 58. Wardlaw, nothing. Lee Academy, 45. Wilson Hall, 28. And Patrick Henry, 60. W.W. King, 14. David, thank you very much. Great job as always. See you next week. Thank you, Pat.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, everybody, for being with us. Have a great weekend.
Weekdays from 7 to 9 on The Point. It's Kev and Brian in the morning. The news, the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to wake you up, topics to make you smile and laugh. Hope you'll join us.
The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, summer sizzle starts